Jesus. Clear. YouTube, what is going on, everybody, man? It's your boy, Run It Up Chris, man. And we back today with another video. Y'all see out here at the range, and I have a very special toy for y'all. You know, some people have seen this on my story on Instagram. You know, if you haven't followed my Instagram, follow me _AZoneChris on Instagram, man. We're gonna be posting a lot of stuff related to, you know, guns and gunsmithing and just everything in relation to that. So today we out here with a very special toy that I've been waiting to get my hands on for a long time. Let me grab it for y'all. And the range is about to close in about an hour, so gotta get this done quick. This here is the IWI Galil Ace in 7.62x39. We are clear, no magazine. We just gonna get some quick shots. First time shooting 7.62x39. So yeah, man, we just gonna get out here. We're gonna see how we do. Again, the IWI Galil Ace. We're gonna get loaded up and get some shots out of this thing. Now, the angles might not be perfect, but we're just gonna work with what we got. Y'all see those in there? Beautiful 7.62s, man. First time shooting 7.62, so we're gonna give it a go. Or should I start with a 10 rounder? I think we're gonna start with a 10. Little small 10 rounder. We're gonna start with this one. See how we do. Jesus, that is rocking the camera, man. Y'all know y'all see that. That is crazy. Gosh. Dude, the flame coming off of this thing is insane. We're gonna get some first person footage of this thing as well. Then when we get back to the house, I'm gonna tell y'all, you know, my dudes, or really what I like, what I don't like, as well as the mods that we're gonna do to this thing. So let's get a couple more shots. Jesus. This thing, clear. All right, not shooting at anything, just getting her tested out, see how she runs. Bro, do y'all see the absolute fireball coming off of this thing, man? This thing is crazy. I'm really thoroughly enjoying this. Super loud, super duper loud, but surprisingly controllable. Like I said, even with the flash hider on here, you see we got the jam nut with the flash hider. That's a big flame coming off this thing. Now, one thing that I can say, as y'all can see, it just happened. That's turning. Don't really like that. Then this safety too, me being a lefty, push down for fire, push up for safe, and on this side, push forward for fire and push back for safe. I'm not really a fan of that, just because I have to throw it forward with my knuckle. So we're gonna get this mag on. We're gonna see. Jesus. About 6 left. This thing is, I'm loving this. I'm loving this. Pretty toasty. Right now, that was 45 rounds. She's pretty hot. And like I said, the only thing is just this brace. That's a no-go. And it's not very comfortable either, so probably gonna get that switched out. But other than that, we got the IWI Galil Ace. Let's get back to the house and we're gonna talk about upgrades and everything like that. See y'all soon. All right, guys, so we back from the range now. Now I just want to dive into more about the gun. You know what I'm saying? Just talk about the things that I like about the gun, that I don't like about the gun. Now granted, I only have like 40-50 rounds, really, which I saw in the video is the only thing that I've shot through this thing, and definitely planning on putting a whole lot more rounds through it. But for right now, this is just what I like, what I didn't like about the gun, what I'm gonna change, you know, things like that. So yeah, here we got the IWI Galil Ace in 7.62x39. So just a little bit about the Galil itself. Now usually when people hear Galil, they instantly think about the 5.56 Galil, and that was the one that's made by essentially the same company, but it's IMI. That one was popular in the 70s through the 90s, and that was the first Galil Israeli service rifle, and that one was made based off the Finnish RK62, I believe, and I believe the first Galil was actually made from a RK62 receiver itself. Now if you are interested in the full history of IWI / IMI and the Galils and stuff like that, I recommend Forgotten Weapons. Not sure if he has a video, but I'm pretty sure he does, that drops, you know, some gems on what these things are and where they come from, and you know, why people like them and stuff like that. But back to this, I just want to give like a little breakdown. We're gonna start from the front, work our way to the back, and just tell y'all everything about this thing, give y'all the specs, give y'all a little overview, you know, just give my thoughts on everything. Alright, so starting off with this thing, we got an 8.3 inch barrel. It has a 1 in 9.45 twist rate, right hand. It is a chrome line hammer forged barrel, you know, just the standard stuff that you get with very, very high quality rifles. Next we got 26.75 inch overall length, and I believe that is with the stock unfolded. Now that is a very compact system. You know, having this folding stock, it's already short, but you know, having this folding stock and being able to go into something like a Vertex bag or just any type of book bag and have this as like a car gun or a truck gun or something like that, the barrel length as well as being able to fold this makes it a really, really good option. As well as it being 7.62x39, that's a very, very hard hitting round for such application. And rounds like that, like 7.62x39 300 blackout, do very well out of these short barrels. So for something like that, I feel like this is the perfect option to go for that. All right, next up we have the flash hider, and this is a little bit different. It's not a conventional thread on, I guess you could say. You do thread it on conventionally, but the way that it stays is with a jam nut here. So what that means is you put your muzzle device on. This is 5/8 by 24 thread pitch, and then there are two of these collars here. So you take this one and you tighten it up to the muzzle device. These both turn in separate directions. So you take this one, you tighten it up to the muzzle device, and then you take this one at the bottom and you tighten it up to that one. So by these turning in opposite directions, it allows you to not have to time your muzzle devices like you conventionally would. You just throw the muzzle device on, thread it until you get it to the position that you need to with enough, you know, coverage on the threads, and then you just tighten these up to it and it just locks it in place. In my opinion, that is a very, very good thing, just because you don't have to use crush washers, you don't have to use spacers or anything like that. As long as you have a 5/8 by 24 muzzle device, all you have to do is literally thread these up to it and it's gonna lock it in place. As long as you put enough torque on it, it's there. Next up, for the front sight, we have, I hate to point it at y'all, oops, the front post here. Let me get my focus right. Let's see. So this front post here is actually adjustable, and it has two collars on it. So as you can see, you see that top one up there, and then you see that line, that's actually for the second one. So what that is once you get your elevation, once you get your elevation dialed in, if your tritium is pointed the other way to where you can't see it, all you have to do is push down that detent up until it goes just past that first one, and you can turn the tritium to you without messing up your adjustment. I feel like that's a really, really good design, just because it allows you to lock in your adjustment and not have anything getting you out of place, or you're not getting out of place with your adjustment just because the tritium is not facing you. So that little dual collar system, kind of like the jam nut actually, that dual collar system actually is really, really beneficial for keeping that tritium pointed towards you, so you can see at night, if you're using the irons. Next up, we got the hand guard. So not counting the top rail, this has 3 Picatinny rail covers. So all you do is just press the button here. Let's see if I can. Just press the button on these rail covers, slide them off. That's 1. That's 2. That's 3. So that just gives you, a nice amount of space for any type of attachments that you're gonna run. If you're gonna run a hand stop, an angled foregrip, lights, lasers, anything like that that you want to run. So really cool. A lot of people have questions about these holes here, and that is for the laser that you want. So in here, in the rail slot, you can actually pop that out, and if you put your laser on here, yeah, that's locked in. If you put your laser on here, you're actually able to keep the rail cover on and keep your laser under it, while still having the rail cover on, which I think is really cool. I believe a lot of the Surefire stuff works. Some Streamlight stuff works as well, but I really do not know the exact models for that. I do want to try it, but we're going to talk about that a little bit later on in the video. Now, the upper receiver on this thing is milled. It's not stamped. So yeah, this is milled, which makes it very, very durable, as well as very tight. The dust cover on this, and I may not even be able to get this back on because it is so tight. It took me a long time the other day to get back on, but that's tight. That's tight. That's really, really tight. I don't even want to take it off because I honestly don't know if I'm going to be able to get it back on, but that's real tight. This thing has no play in it. Literally, it has 0 play in it. And actually, I am going to take it off. Give me 1 second. All right, we finally got it off. Now, that is tight. Really, really tight on there. So I believe taking this off, even with an optic on there, I do think that this is going to retain 0 as well, just because it is so tight. Now, shooting this folded, can you shoot it with the dust cover off? Yes, you can shoot it with the dust cover off, but it's going to be very hard to, and that is because the top rail here has that little lip on it, and essentially what that lip does is it locks into there, if y'all can see that. So it locks into that little dovetail, making it really, really tight, and that pushes the pressure from the top rail being on, pushes up on, I guess, this gas tube here. So once you take all of this out, this comes off as well. So by you shooting this with the top cover off, that's gonna come out as well. So that's just something to keep in mind. You can do it, but it will get a little finicky when you are shooting it like that, just because all that stuff locks into one another. And then shooting it like that too, you're gonna have to keep your hand up here to hold this on, and it's gonna get kind of hot. So I don't know if you want to do that. So Next on the list, we're gonna talk about the charging handle as well as the dust cover here. Reciprocating charging handle, so that means when you're shooting it, this is gonna move, this is gonna come back and actuate as well. When you're shooting it, that dust cover is rocking as well. So I found that really cool, just because regular, conventional, this is not an AK, but it is kind of off the platform. Conventional AKs don't have that, which is really cool. I do want to get some slow-mo shooting so that we can see how this is actuating, just because I feel like it'll be really cool to do. Now this lower receiver, or I guess part of the lower receiver, they made it out of polymer, so they did that to save weight. This is a really heavy rifle. I believe it's like 6 or so pounds unloaded. I think it's like 6 something pounds unloaded. So for an 8.3 inch pistol, that is pretty heavy, and you can feel it when you're shooting this rifle. The weight definitely keeps it from keeps the recoil down. It keeps it like tracking flatter, just because a lot of that recoil is being soaked up by the weight. And another thing about the action, that's really smooth. That's butter. I've had hands on a wasser. Now, like I said, granted, that is 2 different categories or levels of AKs. You can definitely tell some AKs are smoother than others, and even though, again, this is not an AK, this is very smooth, really smooth, and I love it. Let's move on to the safety. I don't like the safety. It is ambidextrous, so you got one on this side, push forward for fire, push back for safe, and then on this side, up for safe, down for fire. So that's something that you saw in the shooting portion that I mentioned. Not really a big fan of that, but I'll go more into that in a second. Last but not least, we got the rear train with the sling clip as well as the folding stock adapter, which is really cool. All right, so now I want to jump into why I actually wanted this as opposed to an AK or any other variant. And it's a very simple answer, and I know a lot of y'all probably can come up with the answer or figure out the answer, and it's simply because of COD. If y'all know about Warzone 1, and I believe they added it back in Warzone 3, the CR56 AMAX, and I might jump into COD on here just to give y'all a little bit of overview. And just found out Battlefield 6, they actually have this rifle too. I haven't unlocked it yet, but I do know that it's in there. But yeah, COD, man, that's really the only reason why I wanted this. I used to shred Warzone 1. I stopped playing Warzone 2 and 3, but Warzone 1, I used to shred with this thing in the rifle configuration, in the pistol configuration. It was just a really fun, broken gun to use. Essentially why I wanted one of these. And I always wanted an AK, a 7.62x39 pistol that takes rock and lock. They do have 7.62x39 ARs that take, it's an AR mag, but it's got a little bit of curve on it, but it doesn't rock and lock. It is, straight in. And I didn't want a Draco. Everybody has a Draco, everybody has a Z-Pap, everybody has one. I wanted something a little bit different, a little bit more robust. These are very durable pistols and built very well too. So that's essentially really the reason why I wanted something different. And I love COD. I've always been a COD kid, so having something from the game in my hand is like, that's A1 to me. So that's the reason why I always wanted, like I said, 7.62x39 short barrel, rock and lock. I love folders. I love bufferless systems too. So anything like this that was bufferless, that wasn't a Z-Pap, wasn't a Draco, I was all for it. So this sealed the deal, or this checked every box in every single way for me. So that's the reason why I got one. I did a little bit, but we're just gonna talk about what I love about this rifle. The sights. I love that it has fixed sights. I'm really a big fan of fixed sights, especially like A2 carry handle ARs. I love carry handles, and these just, you know,
Bro,
they
do y'all
fit the bill for
see
me. So having those
the
fixed sights
absolute
on there are
fireball?
really pretty. Gen 2, I didn't want to go with the Gen 2 simply because it didn't have fixed sights. One thing that the Gen 2 does have over the Gen 1 is the M-lock rail. So you don't have to swap the M-lock rail on that one, but you do have to swap it. And I believe the muzzle device,
Super loud,
they don't have
super
the jam
duper
nut
loud,
on those,
but
just 5/8
surprisingly
by 24,
controllable. Like I said,
like
even with the
AR
flash hider on here, you see we got the jam nut with the flash hider.
and then I believe you get a
That's a big flame coming off this thing. Now, one thing that I can't say, as y'all can see, it just happened.
Any of that. I wanted this one just because
that's turning.
You know, because it looks like the
don't really like that. Then there's safety too.
There's off of this
me
one.
being a lefty,
And
push down for fire,
really
push up for safe, and on this side,
the trigger too.
Push forward for fire.
I love the trigger.
Push back for safe. I'm not really.
The trigger is. That's a nice trigger. Really positive on the reset. It pushes your finger forward and you can hear it, like it's a loud click. So, and it just rolls. Once you hit the wall, it literally rolls through the brake. So, really nice trigger in my opinion. Probably will get it switched out to the ALG in the future, but if the ALG wasn't a thing, I'd be happy with this trigger, and I am happy with the trigger. Still be able to do the AK charge and everything like that, while having something different, while having a different system, you know, that's not an AK. I also like the thread pitch on here. It being 5/8 by 24 sets you up for a plethora of muzzle devices. Literally anything that's 5/8 by 24 that's a muzzle device can fit on here. You got flash hiders, you got muzzle brakes, you have plan B devices, hub adapters, all types of things. And then that jam nut just makes it even better because you don't have to time anything. If you do have a muzzle device, if you do have a flash hider or a muzzle brake or anything like that, you don't have to time anything. You just set the jams to it and literally you're good. So I really do like that. I just not really found it out, but kind of dove more into the muzzle device options for this thing, now that I understand the 5/8 by 24 and the hub adapters for the suppressors coming soon and things like that. So yeah, I really do like that. Now we're gonna talk about the mag well. This does not have a flared mag well, but it's really open in there. If you even get remotely close to the inside of the mag well, you're gonna be able to rock those in. That's a Bakelite. We got a Magpul P-Mag. It loves these things. The Bakelites are a little they got a lot of play in them in this, but they do work. I have to run it and see if it feeds, but I know it does lock in. The Magpul 30, I think I have a 10 rounder too. I know I have a 10 rounder. Yep, this that P-Mag 10 rounder. P-Mag 30 fits in there really good. And then we got the Russian Bakelite. That actually fits in there really good, but like I said, it's a nice amount of play in that. So we'll just have to take it to the range, see if it feeds. From what I've heard, I have not had the chance to run all of these magazines. All I have are P-Mags and my Bakelite. It will take Circle 10s. It will take the metal surplus mags. I've heard that the only magazine that it will not take is the Circle 10s, or not Circle 10s, the AC Unities. Now all I have here is the P-Mags as well as the Russian Bakelite, which those it takes those, locks in with those fine. It feeds the P-Mags perfect. Don't know about the Bakelite. I do know that it's not going to take Polish mags. I've heard that it's not going to take AC Unity mags, Circle 10s, the metal surplus mags. I heard it feeds those fine. I'll try to get some of the metal surplus mags soon. But AC unities, it's not going to take AC unities from what I've heard. I'll probably buy some AC unities just to see if they feed, but I don't want to really waste my money, so I'm taking the word for it that it doesn't take the AC unities. But it ran these flawless. PMags are really good. ARs, AKs, PMags work. A lot of people run PMags as like their primary mags, and I trust PMags with my life. PMags are really, really good stuff. Never had a malfunction out of a PMag. It's only been ammo induced or not cleaning my gun. But magazine wise, these have treated me very well, so I will continue to run these. Now for future changes. Don't get me wrong, I really do like the way this is built, but there are always better options for things on these, or on any gun in my opinion. The first thing I'm probably going to do that I talked about earlier is the muzzle device. Probably going to switch to something, probably a muzzle brake, and that is a hub adaptable for a suppressor that I'm going to put on it. Most likely it's going to be the LPM Liberty Bell. So yeah, we'll see how that goes, trying to get one of those and see if it fits the can that I want. The next thing I'm probably going to do is changing out the handguard. I know two companies that makes these handguards for these. That's RS Regulate, and then that's Midwest Industries. The Midwest Industries one is probably the one that I'm gonna go with, just because of the price point. It's $85. $85. It is $85. I'm probably gonna end up going with the Midwest Industries just because of the price point. Those retail for around $165, but they're on sale right now for $85. And you can't really beat that. Now, there are two different variations of these Galils. Therefore, there are two different variations of handguards for these. There's one that is riveted. Now, there are two different variations of handguards for these. Therefore, there are two different, or just because there are two different variations of these Galils, even if they're the same barrel length, same caliber and everything, there are two variations. So you have one variation under the handguard that has two screws, which mine does, the two opposing screws, and then you have one that has one long threaded screw. On the Midwest Industries website, they have options for both of these. They have a threaded version as well as the smooth version. So I would have to go for the threaded version because mine is threaded on both sides. But for the 7.62x39 pistol, they're out of stock. So I had to give Midwest a call and ask a couple questions, and I found out that the 308 handguard will actually fit these. The representative said it's going to be a little bit they're going to be a little bit longer, so I would have to go for a longer muzzle device just to push out the barrel a little bit to extend out from that handguard. But I did want something a little bit longer just to kind of fill up some of this space, and then when I put the can on it, everything would just be tight to the handguard, which is really cool. The reason why I didn't pick RS Regulate, I don't believe that they give you enough rail space. I like to run lights really high, and the RS Regulate is prettier than the Midwest. I just don't like that you don't get enough rail space, and functional rail space is a really big thing for me. I like to put lights, hand grips, hand stops, you know, anything. I like to fill them up. So pause. So yeah, that was a big thing for me. It looks better, but I think it's like $290, $260, something like that. So, you know, over double the price for less rail space, even though it looks prettier, wasn't really a big selling point for me to get one of those. So I will be going with the Midwest as long as they stay in stock with the 308 version. I'll try to snag one of those before they do go out, but yeah, that's gonna be the first mod that we do for this thing. Next up is gonna be the K&S adjustable piston. Seeing as that I'm gonna suppress this, I want to run full power ammunition. I want to be able to run the brown bear subs. I want to be able to play with this thing
and get the gas right so that it's not, you know, jamming up or running too hard and messing things up prematurely. So that K&S adjustable piston is going to be my best friend with doing that, just to be able to dial in for different ammunition when I put the can on it, when I take it off. So that's definitely going to be one of, maybe it might be the first mod that I do. The handguard might be the first one, but I know it's going to be up there in like the top 3. Now the safety is something that I really don't like, me being left-handed, and it's kind of a gripe. It's not really a bad thing, it's just something that I'm kind of nitpicking on. But yeah, me being left-handed, I have to kind of roll my knuckle into it, you know, and that's not really comfortable for me. I'm used to ARs with the thumb throw safety. This one's pretty high on the right side, and you know, the ball of this here is pretty forward, so I wouldn't be able to get that. The only way I would is to come with my other hand and push it down or push it back up. But this left hand safety is not really my thing. It could be trained out, but this being new and the safety being super duper tight, I'm sure it'll loosen up, but just for right now, that's not really my thing. It has a little bit of play in it. I don't know if y'all can see that. It's got a little bit of play in it. I know you can swap these out to the Gen 2 version, but from what I've seen, I don't think the Gen 2 version is anything really different from this one. So I'll probably just end up sticking with this, training this out, and figuring out how to you know, get comfortable with this type of throw, and you know, just moving on with it. So not really a bad thing, it's just something that I'm kind of picking on right now. Right, next is probably going to be the K&S Precision Delete Kit. And as you can hear, a lot of these parts are from K&S and like RS Regulate and things like that, just because those were the first and probably some of the only companies to make parts for these things, just based off of what the community has, said that they didn't really like about it. So the K&S Precision Plastic Delete Kit will allow you to use AR-15 grips. I've really been a fan of the Die Free Co Kung Fu grip. It's a lot shorter and it just better fits me. This grip isn't bad, it's not bad at all, but it does remind me of like the Daniel Defense, and I don't really like the Daniel Defense. And I've heard again that after you get that plastic delete kit, you'll be able to use drums with these. As of right now, drums do not fit this. I did try it with a drum and it does not fit. The drums won't fit because it's not long enough. So that's something to think about. Once you get that plastic delete kit, you will be able to put drums in this thing, and those are fun, really fun. Now next, the magazine release. I don't really like this magazine release. I felt other AK like tab mag releases, and those are a lot smoother, and usually when you press it like this and you kind of tap it, it'll fall out, but this one just does it. It's really tight in there, and when you're, you know, trying to pop these mags out, you know, you can't do that. So you really gotta like strip this thing out, throw another one in. If this was a little bit looser, not necessarily the mag release, but it's just like the mag well, if it was a little bit looser to where the mags would just kind of like flop out, then I feel like, you know, it'd be a little bit better. Maybe it's just me that I'm not doing it right, trying to be cool, but that's just something that I don't really enjoy, having to like really strip the mag out. So now, something that I'm really pressed to change is this rear train. It's really hard to fold. Like you really gotta put some force into that to fold it, and you know, I usually have to push down on my leg or something like that to get this thing, to get it folded. And you see, it's really pretty when it's folded, but you know, it folds out nice, folds out really nice. It just takes a nice amount to get it to fold. So I'll probably end up switching that out for the A3 Tactical, and that gives you a SBA 3 or SBA 5 brace with a cheek riser too. I'm really a big fan of the cheek riser, and this sits really low, so that's also gonna, you know, allow you to adjust it upwards with the pick rail at the back, so that's really a plus. And as y'all can see, as well as in the shooting footage, I can take this brace and I can literally, what y'all see, flip it all which ways, and when I'm shooting, that's happening. I'm pulling the rifle or pulling the pistol into my arm, so when the gun is recoiling, by it's just jumping, it's kind of like torquing, and it's turning, flipping, reversing. So probably gonna get that switched out. Don't really like that for me personally. So, and I'll probably end up getting some Cerakote done on this thing. I don't know exactly what color, so let me know down in the comments, man, what color y'all think I should get this. Make sure y'all like the video, subscribe for more. This one of my first long form content videos, so you know, let me know, you know, any improvements I need to make. This might be a little bit of a choppy video. I had to make a couple edits just because, you know, tripping up on words, things like that. It happens. We'll get better as we keep filming, but I got a lot of stuff that I want to do, so hopefully those things come to pass and we get some good content out for y'all. I hope y'all have a great day. Make sure y'all rejoin the channel for future videos. Check in on the shorts. Follow my Instagram at _AZONECHRIS. That's Azone Chris, man. Hope y'all have a good one. Peace.